I'm Martin, and today I want to talk about the two Abyss teams that I've been using for more than a year, and I have been 36 starring the Abyss every single time with them. I also want to highlight that when I say that I 36 star the Abyss, that means I 36 star at first try. So the two teams that I have been using is on one side, EA Aggravate, and then on the other side, a Neuvillette Hyperbloom team. I would say Zhongli here is replaceable. I can easily swap him out for, I don't know, Kirara or Layla or something. He was just kind of necessary when it was that Abyss with the Geo thing and where you had like the plunging attacks. I needed Zhongli for that Abyss. But other than that, I didn't really need a 5-star shielder. It's just any kind of sustain is good. Then on this side, I would say basically everyone is replaceable except for Neuvillette. We all know Neuvillette is OP. Luckily, I actually love Neuvillette and his playstyle. But yeah, you can basically use a Neuvillette team and then anything else. I opted for Hyperbloom. If you want to do a Hyperbloom again, you could probably put Cookie here. Furina's quite good, but you could put Kazuha, Sucrose, and then any type of sustain. If you have Furina, obviously healer. If you don't have him, C1, shielder. I can quickly show my builds, but you have to keep in mind that I started 36 starring more than a year ago, so my builds were very different back then. I think I even have a video of me 36 starring for the first time. I do have Yai's signature, and then I recently switched her to a golden troop artifact set. Before that I was using Thundering Fury and Gladiator, and then also about a half a year or a little bit longer ago I got her C1, but that is basically irrelevant. It just gives you a little bit more energy recharge, and her main damage is her E. This is really not necessary. What I do think is necessary is leveling up the talents pretty well. I have basically everyone on these two teams crowned, and these are my official stats. She's using the Stringless R5. Then I also have Golden Troop on her. I do have her C6. And then I have her E and Burst crowned. For Nahida, the important thing is that she has 940 in Elemental Mastery, and I have 144 energy recharge. I would say a little bit more couldn't hurt. I have a signature, but this one I definitely have to say, if you just go with the magic guide, you're set. You don't need to worry about her signature at all. For artifacts, obviously the Deepwood set, she's C0, and her talents I have all crowned as well. If Zhongli, the important thing is just that you get a lot of HP. I have the Black Tassel, and then I have the Tenacity set. He's C0, and his talents, I did crown his E, but I also don't think that's very necessary. When it comes to the other team, again, Raiden, you just need to have a lot of EM. I have the Dragon's Bane, and then for artifacts, I recently got the Flower of Paradise Lost, but for the longest time I was gilded, so you don't specifically need to farm Flower of Paradise Lost. Then she's C0. Her talents, I used to play her on field, so that's why they are leveled high, but literally you can just completely ignore it. Maybe you level up the E a tiny bit, but if you don't, that's fine too. Baizhu, the important thing is that you hit around 50k HP and then try to aim for 200 ER. Then I have the Protect Amber on him, Deepwood Memories, he's C0, and I leveled his E and Burst to 9. For Furina, these are her stats. The most important one is that you have quite high ER. I have a little bit too much. I think you can get away with around 170 ER. And then the crit ratio is obviously nice, but it is just important that her burst is always up. And the weapon I'm using is the fishing weapon from Fontaine. I'm also using the Golden Drip artifact set. She is C0. Her talents are crowned as well. Last but definitely not least, Neuvillette. His stats look really good, but for the longest time I had the shittiest artifacts, so only recently have they been looking this good. And then I have a signature Marisha Hunter artifact set. I did get his C1, and then I did crown all of his talents. In the background, I'm going to show a low investment version of my teams and show off that it works just as fine while I keep talking about some tips. I basically just want to highlight that if you just invest into two teams, they can carry you through the entire Abyss. You don't need to change up the teams no matter what the enemy is. If they are built well, and if you maybe even upgrade to 5 stars for them, you're set. So my teams are very high invested when it comes to artifacts, and for some of them I have the 5-star weapons as well that are best in slot, but I don't have 5-star constellations except for Neuvillette's C1, but I got his C1 just about half a year ago, so for half a year I was 36 starring it even without the C1. So what I mean by high investment is that you should really level up your character fully and your weapon fully, especially carries, and also people that scale off elemental mastery or HP. And then I would recommend to get the relevant talents up to level 9, and maybe for the carries even crown them the important ones. The main thing that I would recommend is that when you build your 2 teams, that both of the carries in these teams have different elements. So I have Electro with Yai on one side and then Hydro on the other side, because what happens a lot is that on one side then there will be a Hydro Slam, so I just put the Yai team on that side. But within this whole year I've never had the issue that there were Hydro Slams on both sides or Electro Slams on both sides. So as long as you have 2 different carries on the teams with different elements, you should be fine. I would also recommend that the carries that you choose to build your teams around, that they are quite strong, maybe even 5 stars, because I think that will make a lot of things easier. Because when the carries themselves are 5 stars and relatively strong, then the supports don't need to pull as much weight and they can be lower investment. Like for example, my Sucrose is only level 70, she has a level 0 artifact and is only C4. But if your favorite character is a relatively quote-unquote weak character or a really low constellation 4-star, then you can still build a team around it as long as you have stronger support. Like there's no issue with that. Obviously, because you don't use a 5-star carry, then you save wishes to pull for a 5-star support instead. But I also want to point out what might be helpful for you building 2 teams if you're quite new, is my teams all use very similar artifact sets. So I only need to farm in 2 domains for both of my teams. So one of the domains is the Mauritius Hunter Golden Troop domain, where Yai, Fischl, Verena and Nuvolette all need the artifacts from. And then the other domain I need to farm is the Deepwood Memories Gilded Dreams, I think is what it's called, where Raiden or Cookie and Baiju or Kibara or Nahida need the artifact sets. And then the rest of the pieces you can just strongbox to build Zhongli or Sucrose, for example. For artifacts I would mostly focus on getting the right main stat and then getting enough energy recharge. I would say these are the important ones. We're kind of over hyping crit stats. Obviously they are good, but energy recharge and the right main stat is way more important. Then after you've gotten enough energy recharge and the right main sets on all 8 characters, then you can go in and try get upgrades. And that was the video already. I hope it was kind of helpful and see you guys soon. Bye!